We begin tonight with the outpouring of tributes to late President Jimmy Carter, his life dedicated to public service before and long after his life in politics. President Carter died at his home in Plains, Georgia, at the age of 100. President Biden declaring January 9th a national day of mourning, when Carter's funeral will be held at the National Cathedral, the president delivering his eulogy. Mourners are paying their respects, many leaving flowers outside the Carter Center, some driving for hours. President Carter's work as a global humanitarian elevating the role of a post-presidential elder statesman. He will be laid to rest near his home alongside Rosalind Carter, his wife of 77 years. ABC senior national correspondent Steve Osensami leading us off.
At the top of buildings across America and across the world, there are lowered flags tonight paying the greatest respects to Jimmy Carter, the humanitarian, the statesman, the president.
Minute of silence in memory of President Jimmy Carter.
From the halls of the United Nations to the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, today they pause to remember him. The former president, who in his later life was a Sunday school teacher, died Sunday afternoon, surrounded by his family in his hometown of Plains, Georgia.
He was an honest man. I think his legacy would be his honesty, his faith, and in politics, that's kind of rare today.
At the Carter Center in Atlanta, where the family is asking people to send donations instead of flowers, people are bringing flowers anyway.
He's my favorite president. Favorite president, for sure.
The next several days will give Americans who wish plenty of chances to share condolences. There will be public viewings in Atlanta and Washington, D.C., and a state funeral next week Thursday in the nation's capital, just 11 days before the inauguration of the next president, Donald Trump. Our current president, Joe Biden, a longtime friend of the Carters, will deliver the eulogy.
He was a statesman and humanitarian. And Jill and I lost a dear friend.
Jimmy Carter was a Georgia peanut farmer who never forgot where he came from, a man of the soil and of the New South who took on Washington.
As a candidate and as a president, I'll never tell a lie.
By January of 1977, he was president.
I, Jimmy Carter, do solemnly swear.
His critics will argue that his presidency wasn't one of the greatest, with challenges at home and abroad. But there is much more agreement that his life after the White House was remarkable, building homes for the poor, through the Carter Center bringing fair elections and an end to diseases in places around the world. And his true partner through it all was his wife, Rosalind, who he often described as his secret weapon. She went first last November, and he will be buried next to her at a place they chose outside their home.
Jimmy says, "Oh, we're going to be buried right there." And then they're both smiling and saying, "Yes, I saw this beautiful bluebird." Rosalind said, "And I knew that that was a perfect place for us to be buried side by side."
Tonight, members of the family are taking comfort in this editorial cartoon in the AJC, the Atlanta paper. Jimmy and Rosalind Carter are together once again.
Their reunion, a bit of solace for the family tonight. And Steve joins us now from the Carter Center in Atlanta. And Steve, how soon will the broader public be able to pay their respects?
Well, Mary, the former president's remains will be moved on Saturday, and then he will stop at the State House here in Atlanta, then here at the Carter Center, where people can pay their respects. Then he will head to Washington, where there is a public viewing at the U.S. Capitol. Mary?
Steve, thank you.